I mean, lives are at stake.
Well, let's clarify that too. If Northfield Center and Northfield Village decide not to regionalize, obviously Northfield Center won't need 2/3 of their personnel. Will Macedonia hire them?
Yes. I was told that they have to meet Macedonia, just because they're a firefighter in Northfield Center, doesn't mean that they're automatically in a job. They have to meet Macedonia's hiring criteria.
Which is the same thing we went through with dispatch.
Right, so they, you know, they do a lie detector test, they do a background check, there's several different criteria that they have that's different from what we currently do in the district, but I'm assured that they will be looked at for employment, so.
We have a question from
Let me clarify again one more, because it was already brought up. Ambulance billing. Remember, we do the billing through the district. That proportion, again, comes back to us at 64.78. Everything is split using that formula. So whether it's us paying the bills or revenues coming back through those billings, we take care of those issues based on the formula.
And again, he spent a lot of time, he didn't have to do it, because it's not his daily record. You know, I tipped the hat, he come in, and we went over everything 2-3 times, so, you know, I really do appreciate all your efforts on that. Carol?
Our current fire department has between 33 and 36 people on staff most of the time. I know it varies when they come and they
It's
go.
way down right now.
And almost all of them except the chief are part-time. When we got this offer from Macedonia, could we have full-time staffers? Because outfitting so many part-time people really raises our cost. And as a community with the Northfield Sagamore Fire Department, we haven't been able to switch them over to full-time and lower some of the costs.
Right.
Could that be done?
It will be a full-time department. It's gonna be an extension of Macedonia, a substation, if you will, here. There'll be Macedonia City Fire Department employees staffed here.
Full-time.
Yeah, they'll
I
be,
think that's the right word. Think of it as a substation.
yeah, it's a
Like
substation.
in Akron, we have multiple stations, it's not one.
And then my other question was, is there a way for the trustees or the mayor of the village to have a certain amount of input? Right now, we have a fire board that is made up of the 6 trustees. Would Mayor Migliorini or whoever was in charge in Macedonia be the only head of the fire department, or would he allow input?
Well, I think it's the same as dispatch. We'd be entering, in essence, it's a contract, is my understanding. We'd be contracting for services, but it's a fixed amount. We're not paying per call. So again, myself personally, I'm willing to give up that local control.
We still have input.
We still have input, right, but I don't think we're gonna have a board.
Where you vote.
Where you vote, correct.
And the dispatch work very well.
Right.
We say the residents.
We have a lot of input on dispatch. Now, when we flipped over to dispatch, we actually, the new mandates for 2017 are, you gotta have 2 dispatchers on every shift, every single shift. That was probably a savings of at least 2 to 3 mils, somewhere in there, because obviously we're not doing that. And it's gonna go down to like 5 for the county, 5 dispatch centers for the
Right.
county.
And that was a win-win for both communities.
Right. And I think, Carol, this is like the early stages. This was the proposal. Obviously, I had to present it to these guys. And there'll be a contract, and there's things that I'm sure that will be negotiated in that contract if we decide to move forward with this. So that hasn't come up in any conversations yet. Not saying that it won't, so.
Can I just ask a couple
Yes.
questions? So 646 is the cost of the district for 2015,
Correct.
right? Does that include that doesn't include the ambulance billing that you get back against that bill?
No, I think is that
No, it's just the cost, what we're putting out.
So that's your real cost,
Right.
and then you still collect the ambulance billing.
Right.
And then the full-time question, just so it's clear. So
How many
Macedonia,
full-time do we have right now? in the
0.
district?
we have 0
Frank's
full-time.
not even a full-time.
I want to
At the
correct
fire
what Carol
district.
stated,
Yeah.
just for the record,
Yeah,
it's 0.
nobody's full-time.
Correct.
So under the proposal of Macedonia, there will always be full-time personnel
Yes.
at this station?
There'll always be a full-time person here that has a rank of something. He's not just a firefighter.
Okay, and they will have come from Macedonia where there'll actually be there'll be a full-time firefighter, paramedic of Macedonia.
Correct.
And then there'll be other personnel, including full-time officers
In Macedonia,
in Macedonia and some part-time
and some
officers.
part-timers here and there.
Macedonia does have part-time
They have
officers
part-time.
now?
They have part-time firefighter paramedics. I don't know that they have a ranking of any type of officer.
Okay. So there will be, similar to the way Macedonia operates with its full-time staff, there'll be full-time staff always here,
Yes,
which we don't have now.
correct,
And there will be some part-time staff.
correct. And
also.
again, we'll have,
Does that help clarify that?
Macedonia houses, or staffs, I should say, between 5 and 7 people on station,
At their station?
at their station, okay? We're gonna have 2 to 3 bodies here, one body always being a full-time employee of Macedonia. The other 1 or 2 could be part-timers, but we'll always have the full-time member here on site. And we have, obviously, when we get a call here, they're also gonna roll somebody from Macedonia as well.
Okay. So one of the problems that I remember listening to in the fire district most recently, especially with the closing of the
ER.
ER here, is that we only had, this is how you went to the whole thing, right? We only had 3 people on station during the day.
Correct.
And so when a call was made, 2 people go out on the call, and there's only 1 person left in the station. And then we had a,
Well, there'd be 0, because 3 people go out on the call because of the chase vehicle. 2 in the ambulance, 1 in the chase
The
vehicle.
question becomes when the 2 take it
They
to the
go to the
hospital.
hospital, 1 comes back with the chase vehicle, now there's only 1
Yeah,
person on
station.
station,
okay, and that led to
a
the
4th
chief
man.
having trouble in staffing
Correct.
that 4th person, calling people in on an emergency. We tried different techniques to
Different,
get
yeah.
people in,
Yeah.
right? So how would this work differently now? There's 5 to 7 people in Macedonia,
Yes.
and then
The same
2
way it
to
works,
3 here.
the same way it works now. If we get a call here, okay, they're gonna know in Macedonia, they're automatically gonna back us up over here. So in essence, it's mutual aid, but it's not because it's our department. So you're not calling the village or somebody else for mutual aid. They have 5 guys or 7 guys at their station. Our 2 or 3 are gone. There's still 5 guys to cover. And that's why he would always roll another ambulance. If we get a call, they'll have somebody in our area.
So there'll always be a couple of people able to respond to a call.
We'll always have
To
coverage
back up,
nearby.
either through Macedonia or here.
Right.
So could people be dispatched out of Macedonia to respond to areas that may be closer to that station than here?
They will be.
Okay.
They will be. That's the
So,
way I understand it now. If there's something going on, and that's the thing, and I don't know what the center's done yet, but that was what was talked about. If the Twinsburg Road area, in Northfield Center, if they had a call there, you wouldn't take an ambulance from Route 82 to go there. Macedonia's right on Valley View, they shoot down Valley View, Twinsburg Road, they're there to cover the center, that whole eastern portion of the center. So that's the same thing. I think logistically, looking at a map and seeing who's closer, those details haven't been ironed out, but they've kind of been tossed around, so.
okay. But this proposal isn't Northfield Center at the moment.
No, it's
This
not.
would be like, your southern border would be like Brandywine Falls,
Right, correct.
that kind of area. So
Right.
that could conceivably have somebody dispatched from here
Right.
to respond, or dispatched from
Or-
Macedonia's
right.
fire station on Valley View
Right.
to respond to that area.
Right.
In a perfect world, if this wouldn't work out for everybody, and we can't predict what the
Speculate what
center
we'll do.
will do or the village will do, but in a perfect world, it'd be nice to have one fire district for the 4 communities and eventually one police district for the 4 communities. And you can call it the Nordonia Police or the Nordonia Fire and share economies of scale in a perfect world. But there's a lot of bugs to be worked out in going toward that. Fire's probably the easiest one.
And we started this 8 years ago. I remember when I first came in, we had these exact meetings. And the issues that were there now have changed over 8 years. So we are looking at things with a new look.
Right.
We did when we created the fire district, left it wide open for additions.
Yep.
So this is natural growth. And I know that like the health district, how many health districts do we have in the county now? One. And I gotta admit, it's the best thing we ever did is moving from multiple to 3 to 1 as far as saving funds and, you know, cohesiveness and communications.
Can I talk about, can I ask a couple other questions?
Sure.
I know that the documents that create the fire district have, like there's a 6-month notice provision if you moved in this direction, and then, so you would have to give notice to the district you were doing it, and there'd be a 6-month period to transition, and obviously prepare to make any kind of a transition. But there's also an apportionment of assets between the two communities. So that would be the equipment. So assuming there's a couple of ambulances now,
Right.
you would end up with an ambulance through apportionment, the apportionment of the assets of the district. When we talk about the response and everything, if you had an ambulance and a squad and a fire truck and equipment here, that equipment would not only serve Sagamore, but potentially could serve Macedonia, just as the equipment in Macedonia could serve Sagamore.
Right.
Right? In other words, the equipment would go back and forth and the personnel would be all coordinated
Correct.
together
Correct.
to respond to calls.
And it's gonna operate this, I would say similarly to what it does now. If, you know, the center, or the district, I'll say, mutual aid's Macedonia, okay? So, if this ambulance is gone, you won't call it mutual aid, Macedonia's just gonna respond. You know what I mean? So, it's really, there's no difference, there's coverage, and again, Mayor Migliorini was real, firm in the fact that, you know, he wouldn't be doing this if he didn't do his homework, and if Chief Black didn't think that they could cover the call volume, number one, and have backup and enough people on staff to do this.
Right now, too, as I remember last fall, as the ER closed, more towards winter, right, the ER
Correct.
closed here, we ended up using Macedonia on mutual aid quite a bit.
We use up quite a bit still.
Yeah, because we didn't have enough people on station, and so if there was a call, we had to mutual aid them
Right.
because we didn't have enough people to
Right.
fill the station to support the next call.
Right.
Is that right?
Correct.
And so as an emergency, we made sure that they were immediately on call, and sometimes I think they had backed up the district quite a bit.
Yeah. In fact,
Going north Saturday.
I think we've had, and it does in the report, it doesn't tell me who provided it, but year to date, we've received mutual aid 7 times, 4 times in the month of February.
I think there were quite a few more even in the month of November and December.
Probably.
We had quite a problem
Yep.
with.
Yep.
And we did go through the issue you did address, which is the equipment. Paul and I did some formula calculation on that as well. He mentioned the 2007, both the Silverado, the Crown Vic, the 2008 ambulance, and we went through and did a cost-benefit analysis of what it is now. Obviously, if we purchase it out, we're a bit, again, back at that 64% number, or if Northfield Center wants it, then they pay us our percentage of the value of the truck as it stands today, or we could both agree to sell it. We've done that with equipment here and others. Let's be honest, we're not doing poorly as a fire district and as a community. There are other districts that would love to have this equipment.